I don't think we really changed much of anything. I think it was more a product of, we dominated the game. We won 4-1. Awesome, right? But I think that's a little bit more of a product of being at home and playing a lousy Chicago team than it is most of what we've done. I do say that, and I've given credit to Pineda to this all the time. I think the team continues to play better in the system that he has. I think, he continues to tweak and get them to play a little bit better. I just think the system is totally wrong.
Yeah. And you and I talked about it. We'll get into it. Do you want to just go right into the highlights and
let's do it.
Go at it? So, Carmen, if we want to jump to the first goal, which was ours, which started off as a great goal 2 minutes into the game. Some nice play in the middle here. Quick little triangle. Araujo slots. Ronaldo bangs it, goes off the goalkeeper's hands and off the crossbar into the top left corner. Some nice little interchange play there. I felt like the guy that Araujo passes it by here didn't do a great job defending right here on this pass. That's pretty atrocious defending. But Ronaldo, Cisneros, great job. Bangs it, puts a lot of power on it. The palm of the keeper's not strong enough. And
I think one of the things that we've been talking about is that if we are going to be a successful team and we're going to score goals, they need to come more through the middle, through Almada, Araujo, etc. And this is a textbook example. If you give those guys interchange and in free flow, one of the things about that goal is it came a little bit in transition. We were a little bit more direct in getting those players at the ball a little bit quicker, and so they had a little bit more space. And if you get those guys in front of the defenders with a little bit of space, they're going to score goals. They're quality.
Yeah. So then, wasn't too long after that, again off of a set piece, Dave, if we want to go to the highlights here, coming off of a corner kick. And what minute is this? This is roughly 10 minutes. 10 minutes in. They take a corner. Shaqiri takes it, gets bounced out to the, almost back to midfield.
Pause it right there.
Right there.
Oop.
Go back?
That's
fine.
fine.
Can we go back slightly? Because I think.
Yeah. There it is.
And we're coming out of the back. Go back a little bit more.
So for the people listening, there's a corner kick just taken, basically
right there. Just leave it there.
Put back out, probably out to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, so one of the things, again, I want to talk about is that, so in this case, the zone works, quote unquote works, because we win the ball, right? But as you will see in the zone, and in fairness, this could happen in a man-to-man system too, the moment that ball is, this time it's cleared, a lot of times it's not cleared, it's a secondary ball. There's nobody responsible for anything. So even, most of the time in a man-to-man system, you say, all right, the guy's out in front, you got to get out and try to counter. But there's a couple of guys, particularly if the defenders are not going forward, you got to have some accountability and make sure that if we turn the ball right over, that the most dangerous players are marked. And one of the things you'll see about this, because it's zone, you can't do that. Nobody knows who's supposed to go where. And if you play it now, as they're coming out of the box, you can see nobody knows who to mark anybody.
And who's marking the best player
now
on their team?
Now phrase it again.
Who's marking the best player on their team after he gets cycled out?
Nobody.
And where is he? He's almost in the 18 already by the time he gets it out wide.
Yeah.
Shaqiri's got it, right?
We've talked about this time and time again, right? You can't really quite see this. And Shaqiri was, in fairness, the guy who took the corner, so maybe you say a little bit. But Lennon, again, is pinched in, and where we froze it just a second ago, he's basically holding hands with the center back. And so when they play it back out to Shaqiri out wide, he has 20 yards to go.
And one thing I want you to see on this is watch Gutman and I think it's Ibarra who are basically have the guy marked up who scores it. Mm-hmm. Really weak. Bad defending on their part because they have it covered at this point. They have their guy, and they just didn't go to the ball with enough conviction.
Yep.
Period. Now, Should Shaqiri have this much time to cross the ball? No, but we're in relatively good shape, all things considered.
Well, I would say you're in danger. Anytime you have a guy that talented, that open to pick out a player.
Yeah, trouble.
It's trouble.
It's trouble. No, but in all things considered, a cross coming through, we at least have guys back and relatively marking people. And particularly the guy who scores it has 2 people on him. They both get out muscled here. It's kind of crazy. Watch it. Let's see it.
Here is Shaqiri once more.
Punches through.
It's an equalizer.
Punches through.
The Nigerian from close
So,
range pounces.
not a very good
and the away team have an equalizer.
way to kind of.
And again, it's the same concept when you're trying to defend this. If you're a young defender out there, you got to get your body in between where the ball is and where he wants to go, right? You got to, basically you can't give him a free run. And there he gets in between the 2 guys. I would argue, maybe they didn't do a good job, but also maybe they didn't know which one of them was supposed to body him up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
either way, it's
either way they've got to get to that ball first.
I agree. I totally agree.
And then I don't know if we want to do all the highlights here, but in the 22nd minute here, Araujo played a beautiful ball, powered over to Gutman, just kind of line drive across, and here it is here. Gutman does a beautiful job of getting his head on it, puts quality contact on it, far post. Keeper makes a great save down into the far post. So
see, he can finish.
he can do a job of getting up for a header, but yeah, that's a little unlucky.
Right, ball by Araujo. But one thing you'll notice on that play is Araujo is out not as an inverted winger, and it's on his dangerous left foot, right?
And look how perfect that ball was.
It's a stunning ball.
So let's jump to the second goal, which was in the 26th minute. This is where I felt like Ibarra had a pretty solid game. This was a great kind of defensive pressure move that he kind of got up and won the ball, and we cycled it back in.
Before you play this, this is something I want to show the listeners, right? So this is, you could show this, you could highlight this 16 times every half. So our outside backs are going so far forward, so fast, that they end up standing in a line. And you can see it right now. So Lennon and Gutman are absolutely at an equal line with Cisneros. It's got to be presumably Almada and probably Araujo. There's a direct line.
It's almost 5 up front, right?
It's 5. It's not just 5 up front. It's 5 in a freaking line.
Yeah.
Right. So when you have 5 in a line and they're equal with the back 4 of Chicago, which is what's here, right? The problem with this is a little further up the field, but this happens to us at all stages in the field, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with this setup, as I'll talk about maybe even more later, is that if you're trying to play those guys, they have no running start, right? In fact, you'll see right on this clip, right? Where is Lennon facing on this clip?
He's facing the ball, right?
But he's facing back towards our own goal.
And the other thing that I'll point out to your point here, Dave, is Ibarra makes a great 1v1 move to win this ball, but it was damn close to not happening.
Yeah.
And where would the other, look how many Chicago Fires would have been on the breakaway.
Right. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the midfield. We only have 3 because our outside backs are so far up the field. Now, our outside backs being up the field mean we have 5 across the front. They also have 5 defending across the back, so it's 1-on-1. But again, when Lennon is facing our own goal, even though he's wide open right at this moment in the clip, so we're about to win possession and try to play, he's absolutely wide open. But if you try to play to him, he has to turn around, face going forward, and then get going from a dead stop. And it's also true of Gutman's facing our own goal too. So both of those players, right, they have to turn and go up the field to try to get behind somebody. And they're just not fast enough to do that, right? The only chance they have to really threaten the outside backs is if they're moving on the run. We play it in the run, and now those guys are fast enough to do that.
Now, to your point, if this did end up getting picked up and Ibarra didn't make the tackle, imagine if Lennon and Gutman were actually back a bit. But let's run the tape.
Look how deep Chicago are now.
So
It's up to Atlanta to break them down as Araujo.
try to go up the middle, gets picked off. Chicago's coming back, but Ibarra does a great job of stepping in.
Ibarra in midfield. Osetu. Moreno.
And again, is Gutman needed there? No, he's not out wide.
Still there. Goal!
And then Ronaldo, who I hope we keep saying Ronaldo. That would be kind
You
of
like
fun.
Ronaldo more than Cisneros?
I do. I think I'm going to go with Ronaldo.
He's our Ronaldo.
Cisneros, because it's Cisneros. But yeah, neither. Gutman wasn't needed there to be wide. So much rather have him sitting back in case they had actually gotten by Ibarra there.
And once again, what we've been saying holds true, right? When they're running and playing Moreno and give and go in those spaces going through the middle is really dangerous.
So again, not the prettiest goal, but Ronaldo was there to pick up the trash, good positioning, good poaching. Haven't seen that from a secondary striker on Atlanta United in a long time. Maybe never.
Never.
I think we're seeing it now.
It's one game, but
we're seeing it now from Brandon Vasquez, who plays for a different team now.
Yeah.
But he
doesn't play for us anymore,
Yeah.
Mikey Dowds.
He doesn't. But, I think he was still probably the best number 2 behind Joseph. So, if Joseph comes back in the next couple of weeks, I don't think we're too urgent on needing like a Matthew Hoppe or something like that. But do you think we're positioning for the Matthew Hoppe thing or something different now?
I still think so. So first of all, the window closed temporarily, and it won't open up again until sometime in the summer. So right now, you can't sign any players in the MLS. I think.
I don't think we've got enough TAM or GAM or spam to do it anyway.
Well, that's your territory. We don't know about those things, but we did get some either TAM or GAM for selling Mulroney.
Yeah.
Right. So there's some.
Only 100 for this year, though. So it's 200 in GAM over.
There's deferred TAM and GAM.
I guess over the next 2-3 years. The next 2 years is.
I can't wait. It's like Christmas morning. Give us the TAM and GAM.
200K in GAM and 75K in bonuses.
Darn you, Mikey Dawes, withholding the TAM and
I
GAM.
don't even know what that means. Do you think this whole math does it really matter? Because it is just money, right? But it helps the league stay
If
healthy.
MLS headquarters, God forbid, has a fire or something, then that spreadsheet goes down. Then that's
Look out.
it. Nobody will ever know.
Maybe that's
it's all
maybe that's
money.
their plan. Maybe Don Garber, that's in his master plan. Like when it reaches a certain point where we can rip the Band-Aid, no more designated players. This league's ready to go. We got 35 teams. Whoo!
Can we hear a boom
Promotion
shakalaka?
and relegation are still in
Good call, Cat.
Yeah. And now we
Mikey
are
Dawes
on to
feeling it.
why don't we jump to this next kind of almost goal from Lennon. I think there's out wide to Lennon. He gets a nice cross in. A pretty close chance for us to score another goal here. I think it's Ronaldo yet again, who at least puts it on frame, makes the keeper do something on this play here. So it gets played really nicely out to Lennon. Lennon actually puts in a really nice cross. Keeper has to make a save on it. Kind of bounces to Cicernos, and keeper has to, get a palm on it.
But, once again, we've had so many times where Lennon is in that spot, and he delivers a quality cross almost every time, and we haven't scored. We really just haven't scored. Now, maybe it'll start happening, but maybe Ronaldo will start to feel that and to get the timing with Gutman and Lennon. But up until now, that is open as he was and as fine a delivery as he gives, that has not led to goals.
Yeah. We don't have to go to the next highlight. I think we can just talk about it. It was a really nice cross, I think, from a set piece where Alex DeJean gets a really solid header on it. Should have put it on frame and didn't. But then not too long after that, in the 36th minute, we get our third goal from Ronaldo, which I think was his best. Boy, this was not going out wide to the flanks, Dave. This was about as direct of a goal as you will see, starting from the back with Bobby Shuttleworth, who does a nice job of playing it to Ibarra's feet. Ibarra looks up, Dave, and makes a very good pass, but also a very dangerous pass if he doesn't get it right.
Okay.
Could have been disastrous if he got the pass wrong, but boy, beautiful pass straight up the gut to midfield to Almada, who of course does what he does. He turns it and slots our striker Ronaldo right up the gut to the top of the 18, and he puts it on the goalkeeper with a little bit of pause. It goes out right.
And
so this is it.
This is what we've been asking for, direct verticality. The only thing is, and you point out if it gets intercepted, right?
Yeah, but look at this. Look at this little slowdown. It goes out, and then that's not as easy as it looks. You can look real silly doing that.
That's class, right? Because most players would have shot it and given the goalkeeper a chance. He didn't give him a chance.
Because, that's a tough position to be in. Also, Dave, as a striker, he didn't have an angle on the goal. He's right, like, in the center, And sometimes that's really difficult as a striker because you don't have a perfect angle. Goalkeeper's out pretty far, so you do have to make some sort of move like that, which often you see in these highlights get nabbed up by the keeper, or they're too slow on that, and it ends up,
But you love to see them playing vertical. You love to see that outlet pass. It's brilliant, and you can afford to do that if you're Atlanta United. You would think, because every once in a while that's going to get picked off. But we had the center backs to deal with it. But again, in that clip, you'll notice that we don't have the center backs to deal with it. Gutman's already 40 yards up the field. So if that ball gets intercepted, we're in deep trouble. Yeah. And there's no reason. So Gutman on that play ran the entire thing. He ends up in the 6-yard box as Ronaldo is scoring. What did he do that for? Nothing.
Yeah. But man, that was a beautiful long pass by Ibarra.
Oh, it's just dream.
And like this shows like just how Almada can be that transition kind of pivot person in the center. Because as soon as he gets it, what's he doing? He's not trying to do the Miggy go a million miles an hour. He looks up and just puts the perfect touch on the ball. And whether that's Ronaldo or Joseph, I think we're going to score a lot of goals if we can do more of that.
So I'm thinking, Ibarra has so stepped up his game that when Sosa comes back, how do you feel about playing those two together and letting everybody else go in front of them?
Well, look, if that works, or
as opposed to Josetu, for example.
I don't know, man. I like Josetu too. I feel like he's coming into his own as well.
Mm-hmm. One thing we had said before that is maybe Josetu is a little better attacking player, and then on the road you play Ibarra with a slightly more defensive slant to it, and you could do that. You could vary it.
And as sad as we are about Miles Robinson, oh man, I'm just feeling for him for like the World Cup. Just missing that, like that has to be eating at him, and wishing him the best. Hopefully he can pull the miracle off and at least be playing with Atlanta United a couple games as we head into the playoffs. So let's cross our fingers for that. But what do you think?
So is it
what
true?
Do you think we're going to do in the back line with him out? What's your back four?
George Campbell.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Dijon, played pretty well, and Campbell right now has a groin injury supposedly. So I was surprised. We didn't really hear about that very much. Although I did see him the previous game, towards the end of the game, you could clearly see he was favoring it.
Yeah.
And those groins do take, when you tweak them even if you don't pull it necessarily, but if you tweak it, it takes a while to come back. So I'm going to guess you still got another at least a couple of games before Campbell is even available. So you have Alex Dijon as a possibility. Or the other possibility is Ronald Hernandez in the center back, which I think he could probably do.
Agreed. Yeah. So we've got options. We can't afford another big injury. So no more dad jokes.
Okay. Done. Done.
So I think it's in the second half. If we jump to Almada, who's driving right up the center yet again. So I think this is another good example of just the class that Almada has. Boy, he didn't miss by much. He just nukes the ball and just misses the top right corner from the top of the 18. And you watch that in slow motion, and it's really pretty close to the upper 90. At first, I thought he floated it way too high, but it's pretty darn close.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, Atlanta United getting out on the run in space, they're a much, much better team when they do that. So obviously Pineda's been working hard and trying to get them to speed it up. I mean, he's talked in the post-game press conferences about, limiting the dribbling and trying to get it a little bit more vertical and quick out of the back. So that's obviously working.
Yeah. And then, we don't have to go to the highlights, but in the 74th minute and the 84th minute, there was two more slight chances from Chicago. Mueller, who's the young kid that used to play for Orlando, dribbles into the box, fakes like he got a foul, dives, and actually gets a yellow card.
Okay.
And then there's another chance for a header, and Shuttleworth pretty easily saves it. It was, going into the bottom corner, but gets down and gets to it. And then we get our fourth goal with Brooks Lennon, I think towards I think it's like the 90th minute, and we can take a look at that.
Low delivery, forces narrows, falls highly.
Yeah, cleans it up.
It's Brooks Lennon, and with that, it's 3 points.
And I can't remember the build up to that one.
I think they'll probably show it on the
Yeah. But yeah, was there to finish it. So
play out wide, Brooks Lennon overlapping, but it was actually.
Oh yeah, Ronaldo kind of gets in there to challenge it. Chicago does a terrible job of clearing it, but that's where the big body of Ronaldo is able to create a little confusion.
So who was the one who crossed it? It was Heinemann. Emerson Hyman.
Yeah.
So again, but it's through the middle, right? I mean, one thing you'll say about all 4 goals through the middle, Mikey Dowds, right? So this is what we've been talking about. If we're going to be a quality team, it needs to be Moreno, Araujo, Almada through the middle. That's where our talent is. And, lo and behold, if you get the balls to those guys quickly, as we said, I mean, I think the exact words we said in the previous podcast, you get it out to those guys quickly in front of the back 4 and they'll score.